Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers. I'm Chris McGee, joined by our Laker insider Mike Bresnahan and Lakers beat writer from The Athletic, Yovan. Boo-ha! What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Guys, Celtics
That's a good intro.
Did you guys know that real quick?
Yeah. They
the
lost.
finals are set.
At home.
We're going to talk Lakers, but the finals are set.
Yeah.
It's the Miami Heat.
Celtics lost by like
The Denver
57
Nuggets.
points at home. It's
Yeah.
really
So-
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, they lost to the 8 seed
Yeah.
at home in a Game 7.
Yeah.
And they have one title in the last 37 years.
Including this year.
These are all just
Have you
facts
updated
that
it?
are-
Yeah.
Not like throwing shade on them. I'm saying those are facts
That's
that
a
are out
fact.
there.
It's a fact.
So, tough loss for them.
Tough loss.
Real bummed.
Yeah.
But looking forward to the finals.
Denver, Miami. Who saw that? Who knew that?
Should be a fun 5-game series.
Yeah, I'm going Denver all the way. But I love that Pat Riley's back in the finals in some capacity.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because he's always there somehow.
Soothing
All right,
you.
let's get into it. LeBron just completed historic season number 20, where he became the league's all-time leading scorer, surpassing the captain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In addition to that, he also delivered the highest scoring average for a player in his 20th season, 29 points per game. You see Kobe Bean had 17.6, Dirk fell off to 12, Cap was at 10. So amazing numbers for LeBron James. So many storylines around LeBron. Retirement, no retirement. Is he playing? Is he not playing? Contracts, surgery, no surgery. Yovan, give us your kind of top LeBron off-season takes that you got going on.
Yeah, well, I think he's coming back. From everyone I've spoken to with and around the organization, there's a healthy amount of skepticism around the notion of him retiring after year 20. I mean, you just saw the graphic. More than 11 points per game than the second place guy on that list, who's Kobe Bryant. And that's a giant gap.
Impressive.
And to finish the season with a 40-point triple-double, I think he's obviously still playing at a high level. I think can still be the best or the 1B on a championship level team. Obviously wasn't the showing the Lakers wanted in the conference finals, but still to get to that point, be a top four, ultimately a top 4 team this season, I think was really impressive. So I'm sure for him, giving his all, playing all but 4 or 5 seconds there, and losing and still getting swept. I'm sure there was some basketball mortality that he was kind of weighing. It's a heat of the moment.
You were there.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
And he was kind of leaving some breadcrumbs of didn't really want to talk about next season, didn't really want to reflect on his season. And then finally at the end of the press conference, he, I think, deliberately kind of drops that nugget of, I got a lot to weigh. And even that was kind of cryptic, where it wasn't explicitly, I might retire. It was just kind of the implication there. So I think for him, he's, going to think about, do I want to have this off-season surgery? Do I want to kind of ramp up and go through the rehab and all the processes he's going to have to go through to get healthy for training camp or early in the season? So I think there's a lot to kind of weigh, but ultimately with the level he's playing at, I don't think he can walk away at this point. I still think he wants to share the court with Bronny, even if he's softened that stance. So I suspect he'll play at least one more year, if not a couple. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, Brez, do you come out in the same camp?
I do. Let's not forget he's under contract for 2 more years. We pay him almost $100 million. That's pretty good money. It's hard to leave that on the table, no doubt about it. Not that he's about money, but it's a factor for sure. And maybe he feels like, this team is pretty close. You did just make it to the West Finals. Nobody expected you to do anything like that. And in the West Finals, by the way, are you guys the types that round up from 9.5 to 10?
Sure.
I hope so, because then indeed LeBron would have averaged a triple-double. He was at 27 points a game, 10 assists a game, and 9.5 rebounds per game against Denver. Those are incredible numbers, age or not. I mean, just a great run for him. Yovan, I like your points. I also think he will be back. There's just too much out there. There's a lot at stake for him returning, and this is not a failure of a season in one iota. I mean, just a good run for the Lakers for sure.
Yeah, but like I think you said, you start to hear it for the first time, right? That now it's probably talked about more in his house and with his team and his family. He's always so good on social media, too, because he'll put something out there and it has everyone else talking, and he just goes about his day. So this one, a little Jay-Z lyrics from the track, What More Can I Say? I'm supposed to be number 1 on everybody's list. We'll see what happens when I no longer exist. By the way, Jay-Z kind of always flirted with retirement as well, and then would drop another hit. So we all assume LeBron's coming back. What do you make of this?
I think on some level, LeBron kind of likes the attention and the drama, and we know he has used social media at times to apply pressure. I think most famously with the Kevin Love tweet.
Yeah.
You got to fit in, not fit out. And he's done that before. He's done it through the media as well. So I also wonder if part of this was a little bit of a tactical thing of, we know he wanted Kyrie Irving at the trade deadline and last offseason. Does he push for another third star? And the Lakers kind of find that elusive third guy that can fit around he and AD. So I think there's a lot of different things you can kind of pull from his recent comments and actions. But I think part of it's just also he knows he can have some fun, and he posts that, and we're talking about it right
Here we
now.
are, talking about it.
I mean, the funny thing about social media for players, just in the last 10 years or so, they can put it out there, and they don't have to face any questions about it. You'll get a lot of people tweeting at you, of course.
There's no press conference
There's
anymore.
no press conference. So if one of the three of us was there, or our friend Allie Clifton, we'd probably be like, what do you mean by that? If you're quoting Jay-Z stuff, can you expand upon that? Social media, you put it out there, you let it marinate, you let people kind of start talking about it a lot, and that's exactly what's happening. I just, and indeed, look, things are happening quickly. The draft is only about 3 weeks away, free agency about a month away. So if LeBron's going to make any moves, he probably has to let the Lakers know soon. I don't expect, we're going to be hearing anything other than he's back. But then again, we're not inside his head right now.
All right, guys, you mentioned the free agency. It's coming, right? And there are plenty of roster decisions to be made in Laker land this offseason. As we take a look at the team's free agent list. D'Lo unrestricted. Malik Beasley's a team option. Lonnie Walker unrestricted. Then you see Rui's restricted. Austin Reeves restricted. Tristan Thompson unrestricted, Dennis Schroeder. So Austin Reeves will no doubt be the team's biggest offseason priority. And here's what he had to say during his exit interview.
I want to be here. It feels like home to me in a sense. Obviously it's a lot different than my actual home. It's a little bigger, a lot more people, worse traffic. But I told somebody a couple months ago that it feels like a home for me, basically. The way the fans support me, the players, coaching staff, front office. This is definitely somewhere I want to be, but we'll see what happens.
Austin in particular had an incredible year. I think he defines really what's at the heart of playing for the Lakers. He's a selfless, team-first guy. He lives in the gym. He loves the big moment. He's been able to meet the big moment. I think he's a guy that, regardless of what his deal is, I don't think it's going to change him as a person. And we'll hang our hat on guys like that compete, love the game, love their teammates. I think we're proud to have him as part of this franchise. And again, without talking about specific players, we'll do our best to keep this group intact and growing and getting better each year.
Perez, I'll start with you. So listen, there's a long list of priorities. Rob wants to keep that main core together. And number one, that means Austin Reeves, right?
Yeah, to me, for sure. And Rob didn't come out with a list and say, here's who we're going after first, second, and third. But you look at what Austin Reeves did, over the last several months of the season. That was a huge ramp up. I mean, I saw one list, from a website kind of ranking the top 40 free agents, I think it was. They had Austin at 14 or 15. I mean, that's how much he has jumped up just since, I would say, December, probably of last year. And part of it went away for a while. Remember, he got hurt, he missed a few weeks, and then all the trade guys came in, and there was a little bit of a settling in period for everyone, and Austin emerged victorious out of that group of guys who came in. He not only kept his stats up, he got promoted to the starting five, and he stayed there. Huge part of it on offense and, of course, defense. We always got to talk about defense. And for a team that just didn't have great shooting, they were bottom third throughout the playoffs. He was a very good shooter. So I can't think of a reason why he would not be number one on the list of guys we need back.
I remember his rookie year, the big talk that we would have was that he fits everywhere. He can play with stars, he can play with the second unit. Yeah. And just to watch him emerge and become his own player this year, a guy that fits with anybody and can have the ball at the end of games and have such huge moments, he deserves what he's going to get. Does he test the market, or does he sign right away when the Lakers put that offer out? What do you think?
I think he's going to test the market.
Is he?
Yeah. And as he should. Because honestly, I think, there might be some posturing from other teams of just trying to see if they can poach him from the Lakers and offer maybe a contract that's pretty high. But I think his maximum contract, 4 years, 98.7. I don't think it's crazy. I like the way it's gonna be structured is gonna be a little crazy, where it's gonna be like 12 million, 13, and then 30 plus the last couple of years. But Austin Reeves was the third best player on a team that made the Western Conference Finals. And I don't think, to be honest, it was really close. Whoever you want to put as the fourth best Laker, I think there was a gap there between Austin and that player. And really, I think it was the case for most of the season. Even with him coming off the bench, he was always closing. He was one of the few fixtures in the lineup. And then he really ascended as he joined the starting lineup. Basically 18 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 50, 40, 90 shooting. Like, he was incredible as that third guy. And he was consistent throughout most of the playoffs. Like, he did have a little bit of dip there, late Grizzlies, early Warriors series, but he was great in that Denver series, hit a bunch of clutch shots in the fourth quarters of those games. And to me, I think whatever number he gets, if he ends up signing a big offer sheet, the Lakers have to match it.
Is there some curiosity with you guys? Because I want him to sign immediately, the Laker fan in me, but aren't you just a little curious what he would get?
Yeah, and the good news for the Lakers is he's restricted. So they can come back and say, okay, we're going to match that offer. And also another team has to tie up that money with Austin.
For 6 days.
Yeah, for quite a while. I mean, so if you're a team that offers him a contract, that might be your only guy.
And the most he gets, 98, you said? Was it
98.7.
98.7.
So with the Lakers, it's around, it depends on where the cap ultimately ends up, around 52, 53. And then he can sign in 98.7.
He's having a nice jump up, is what we're saying.
Either way.
For a guy who made under $2 million this year, which is great money to 99% of the country, but NBA, that's a sliver.
Brez, Rui had such a great playoff run, and really did himself some favors. Is he a priority?
He might be the number 2 guy. I mean, his number is going to be starting at about $8 million a year. The Lakers have to extend him that qualifying offer right at the end of June to make him, at least theirs for 1 more year, and then he can start negotiating with other teams. Look, another guy who just ramped up a lot. He had a later ramp up than Reeves, but once the playoffs started, I mean, Rui was right around 50% in three-point shooting. I mean, I didn't even know he had that attribute, because he was around 26 or 27% with the Lakers during the regular season, but a guy who provided some pretty good defense. As we know, he had some moments against Jokic where he kind of kept him in check a little bit. I liked what I saw on offense and defense from this guy. Almost a similar thing I'd say about Austin Reeves, obviously different position.
Yeah, I honestly was not sold on Rui entering the playoffs. I thought that with some of the numbers I was hearing for his potential free agency value, I was like, that seems a little bit high for this guy. Remember that there was a stretch there in March where he received a DNP CD
against Chicago
and was not really, was kind of in and out of the rotation a little bit. And this was, the Lakers didn't really invest much in getting him, but it was kind of like, can we trust this guy? Is he playoff proven? And he showed up in a big time. Like, I think he was probably the number 4 guy ultimately overall. I still think there's a little bit of a gap there between him and Austin, but I wonder what his number ends up being.
I know.
I don't think, with Austin, I think there's going to be several teams that probably come with maybe an offer above what the Lakers can offer him. But with Rui, it's like, does that get up to 18 million, 20 million? And where's that kind of breaking point for the Lakers? Because I think, 4 years, 88 million, 22 million a year, that might be a little too high for the Lakers, because you also have to factor in now this new luxury tax and the apron, and it's kind of complicated, but the more you spend, the more it's going to penalize you, and to the point where there's certain roster moves, like you can't sign buyout guys, you can't acquire more money in a trade. So there are really some factors the Lakers have to weigh here. So I think Austin is a no-brainer, bring him back no matter what. Rui is probably close to a no-brainer, but it's going to ultimately depend on how big that contract is.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys, good work. We're just getting started on this edition of Access. Coming up, Derek Fisher weighs in on what's next for the Lakers after falling short in the Western Conference Finals. Plus, top plays from Austin Reeves on the way.